Yeah, so thanks a lot, Lee, for getting us live. All right, folks, so I welcome you all to weekly development meeting. This is the very first meeting for this month. And so today we will be talking about all the PRs that you have on Meshery, its roadmap, the milestone that Meshery has achieved, and it's, how like we are also participating right now in the events. So we'll be talking about all of it. I'll once again share this meeting minutes with you in the chat box for those of you who just have joined. So that you can write your name with attendees and can also mention any agenda item that you have. It could be an open issue or pull request, or if simply you are running into an issue or you have some enhancements, proposal for an enhancement, so that's also fine. We will be kicking off by following the tradition, and that is if you're joining this call for the very first time, you can unmute and give your quick introduction. You also can do this in chat box, but just for now, I'll be taking a look at participants to see if we have any newcomer. So Liben, is it the first time? I think like this is the first time that you're joining this call. Do you mind introducing yourself? So I guess it's pronounced Liben. If not, please let me know.
Yeah, Lieben, you're on mute. You're on mute, by just in case you.
All right. In the time Liben,
Hello, am
comes
I
to this.
audible now?
Hi. Yeah, you are. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, there he
Yes,
is.
we can.
This is my first meeting. I'm actually applying for Meshery for Google Summer of Code 2025. And I'm in the process of learning about the project. In short, I have a background of software engineering, but I'm now transitioning. I'm interested in cloud, and I'm transitioning to cloud roles currently. I'm just polishing my skills and things like that.
Hey, so thank you for giving your introduction and for joining the call, Liben.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have you, Lieben. If you look in the Zoom chat, we'll drop some resources about how to familiarize even more with the project. Joining this meeting is a wonderful thing. There's much info exchanged on the project, and just it's a great way to get to know some of the folks involved as well. So this is good.
So Yoginder, do you want to go next? If this is the very first time that you're on this call.
Hello, everyone. I'm audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So my name is Yoginder, and I'm a DevOps engineer. I have expertise in Azure side and the IAC and also automation. So I got into Meshery, like I got to know about it from the GSOC only. And I'm currently like exploring all the features of Meshery, playing with the playground and trying to install it in my local system right now.
Awesome. That's really great. Yoginder, I think you also have one item to talk about today. There somewhere it is. So yep, we will be discussing that. Thanks a lot for giving your introduction.
All right. You're welcome.
I think the next newcomer and the last newcomer for this call right now is Prajwal. So Prajwal, do you mind introducing yourself?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are perfectly fine. So just a heads
Okay.
up, if you will not be, we will be letting you know. So you don't need to ask.
Okay, sure. Sorry. My name is Prajwal KP. Like I'm second year student. From Bangalore, I'm studying engineering right now, and this is me first time applying for GSOC. I got to know Meshery from GSOC as well. Like I'm currently working on a project. Yeah, that's it. And I want to become a DevOps engineer in future. So I'm working on DevOps tools and stuff as of now. Like being in second year. I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's a great introduction. Thanks a lot for jumping on the call, Prajwal. And so yeah, on this call, we time to time, hand out some good first issues. So hopefully you can take them as we make those call to volunteers. So
Yeah,
once
sure,
again,
sure.
very
Thank you.
welcome to the call.
Thank you.
I think that's it for the newcomers. Now we have a couple of folks sending their regrets, including Sangram and Yash too. I think they're not in attendance because they are representing their project at KubeCon EU, which is right now ongoing. So, if you are attending the event either in person or virtually, show your support. You can visit those locations that we have, like the booth and other sessions that will be conducted. So very first up, we have this standing agenda items that's on CLI and UI. And for CLI, I think it's Matthew, and he's also on the call. So Matthew,
Yes.
do you mind discussing these standing agenda items?
Yes. Okay. So I'm Mathieu, so I'm gonna give some update about Meshery CTL, which is CLI for Meshery server. We have two components that are calling the API, the UI, and the CLIs. And here is the list of all commands available in the CLI. What I have made last week is to update that spreadsheet, which has not been updated for a long time. And if I'm right, I have added the Meshery model, components, and environment, and update the status of each command. So for those who there and wanted to contribute, here you have an example of the model command where you can see all command available, and here is the status of the command. So it's yes means that the command is already implemented. Currently, we have the init command, which is under progress, and there's an issue open for the build command. I think for this, it's all I have to say. And other things related to Meshery CLI, we started project to add end-to-end testing on the CLI, like we are doing on the UI. This is done by the framework named BAT, and this spreadsheet lists every command that will need to be covered by the end-to-end test. We have already some issues related to that, and pull request opened. They were little stale because they have some issues that have been fixed now, and I think that for next week we will have some progress on that area. But for today, nothing to say. And that's all for me.
Yeah, nice. Hey, Matthew,
Yep.
one question, or maybe just two things to note out loud. One is that inside of the spreadsheet, it might be, I wonder if you might give a look over the plurality of different commands. It might be that some are listed as a singular noun and some are listed as like a plural noun. And there's just something to double check on it if you don't mind.
Oh, in the spreadsheet. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just see that for the components, for example. Okay.
Yeah, I think that this is accurate in terms of what's been implemented, which is wonderful. It might be that we need to re-examine what's been implemented, or whether or not we're being
Yep.
consistent. Yeah.
Okay. It's I'm doing it.
Nice.
And I will update.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you very. Yeah, Matthew also just, I'm going to mention this sort of at Matthew, but to everyone else as well. Matthew was just calling out, oh, the other spreadsheet. Apparently that's how we run Meshery, is through spreadsheets. And the thing is like Meshery does a lot of stuff and it's hard to keep track of, and the spreadsheets really help. So yeah, we use spreadsheets. Uh, one of the spreadsheets was just this long list of test cases, or it was an yeah, I guess when they're all summarized up, it's something of an overarching test plan. The current release that we're working within is Meshery 0 or
8
yeah,
or
thanks.
9.
Yeah, that's not, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I wasn't missing that. You would think that I might have had a brain fart there for a second. I don't know. I was debating on whether or not to say V0.8, and then like, well, if I don't say the V. Anyway, yeah, exactly what Matthew said. We're like midway through, coming up on a .9 release. So Meshery is almost to a 1.0. Many of you who first come to the project, soon figure out that there's a lot inside, and there is. And so it takes a while to get to 1.0. Meshery's, we're going to make an announcement this week, maybe even today, about Meshery being the 9th fastest velocity project in the CNCF. We've been talking about it for a little bit. It's something that the CNCF has an annual report on. And so good, we're able to cover as much as we do because it is growing so fast. The reason that I interjected was to point out that in context of GSOC, Matthew was just mentioning the test cases, the other spreadsheet, and all of the end-to-end tests that are to be done for the CLI. And that's the focus of a GSOC project. Similarly, there's a GSOC project for end-to-end tests with Meshery's other client, or other REST API client, the UI. And so there's a different framework used for those, but that's another project in GSOC. So lots of, as we get closer to 1.0, more of a focus on quality. And so, so there's some, yeah, pretty interesting work going on. We might even, Vivek, as you're hosting, you might even have a topic about upcoming new contributor training on some of these topics. So we'll want to pay attention to that. In fact, that might be next. I don't know.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Matthew. Next up, we have this standing agenda item on UI. So Amit, I wonder if we have any updates since you last presented. If we do,
Yeah,
you can present.
I just quickly share. So this is our spreadsheet for we track all of the migration that we did in the UI, like the class-based to functional-based component migration. So for that, uh, there are some components that are not migrated to the functional base, like you can see that are in the needs help, and it not have any assignee. So those component has left, and other I think my screen has been freeze. Yeah. And the next thing we are planning to migrating was like the Axios or fetch library to the RTK migration. So we in the some places in the Messery UI we use the RTK, and we use the fetch data fetch as a fetching the any response from the API. So like we planning to migrate those to RTK migration. This is the component name that are old that use the fetch library. So we want to move to the RTK. So if anyone wants to work in this area, then they can add the comment here, and we can assign those RTK migration component to the individual and they can work. So like reason for RTK migration was because it comes with a lot of benefit like the caching and the we don't have to do a lot of state management stuff. It default provided by the RTK and also refetch if any API was good. So there are a lot of benefit that we get by migrating to the RTK. So that's why the new thing that we added like the RTK migration in the sheet.
Like lead told me to work on that. I will be checking that.
Yeah, okay. So this will for anyone who wants to work in the migration thing. Okay. Any question?
Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. I mean, I'm hopeful that anyone who would like to contribute, they can look for your sheet and then comment on the issues that you have opened. So this is a nice call to volunteers. Thanks a lot. Yeah, and then we also have this release in progress, like the Meshery's next roadmap, like the release. And there's this board that you can be part of, in the areas where you feel comfortable. So I'll just be dropping the milestone link. And next up, the topic that Lee was mentioning, like the new
Is it like
contributor training.
sorry, is it like some particular date for this, like release 090?
So I think it will mostly be governed by the percentage that we will be completing. So right now it's at 38%. So we would want to get as many items as we can, to the finish line. Thanks a lot,
Got it.
Nikita.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So this is the next topic on training schedule. And so these are the topics who, like any seasoned contributor who have experience or any maintainer, can come up demonstrating any one of these. Last newcomers meeting, we had a very quick overview on how to get started with end-to-end testing in Meshery CLI using BATS. But this newcomers meeting, this is still open, and so anyone who would like to chime in right now, if you would sound off, either any maintainer or anyone who has experience and are feeling confident enough, let's get the name in this table.
When is the first training?
So I think the very first formal training will be tomorrow on the newcomers meeting.
Nice. And that's which topic?
So we are still open to anyone presenting any topic. So like we don't have any schedule yet.
Then we don't have it. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Then whoever's going to present probably isn't ready, I'm guessing. Isn't that what happened last week?
Yeah, it happened. So that was a quick overview on end-to-end testing by Ria.
Okay, but it wasn't a full testing because she wasn't ready because it wasn't scheduled. So do we have one scheduled? So we don't have one scheduled this week either. So,
No.
Okay, what's the plan for when we're gonna have one scheduled and let people know? And I know there's a lot of people interested in the end-to-end testing with the CLI. And there's always a lot of people interested in end-to-end testing with the UI. Those are really popular topics.
Yeah, so I'll just simply ask for Matthew or Ian's availability if they would like to take contributors through any of these topics in the tomorrow's newcomers meeting. That would help a lot. So either Ian or Matthew, do you want to sound off?
On my end, the Thursday I'm not available. It's there's 2 days in the weeks I cannot be there. It's Tuesday and Thursday, unfortunately.
That makes sense. Thanks a lot for letting me know. Ian, do you mind letting us know whether or not you will be able to take the
Yeah,
session?
I'll have to schedule it out in advance. I won't be ready for tomorrow for sure.
Apologies, did you say that you're not?
Yeah, he said he'll need a little bit of, he said he would like to, but he needs some time. And so good, hopefully you can follow up with people off the call, Vivek, and get organized here and get something, help get people prepared, help give them some time to help set some expectations about how much time they might have and what people might be looking for, what some of the outcomes might be in terms of participation or what have you. And so certainly those two topics are GSOC internship topics. We have, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many GSOC internships, because we're participating under two different organizations, the Meshery organization, the CNCF organization. We've got current LFX internships going on right now. And then we'll have another round in a month and a half or something, a month, I don't remember. So
Yeah.
like, my goodness. And we've got, thankfully, 3 new, well, how do I phrase it? 3 mentors who haven't previously mentored on the Meshery project. So 3 new Meshery mentors, if I can say it like that. They're not new to mentoring others, but Matthew Irvin was just presenting a moment ago. Ian Whitney was just speaking a second ago. And Sangram Roth, who's out at KubeCon right now, and I'm going to talk about him now. Anyway, those 3 individuals have recently volunteered their time, well, to help mentor some upcoming internships. So thank goodness, because we've got super popular internships, and that's because we really because they're very meaningful. If it wasn't for people showing up for internships, we wouldn't have half the things done that we have. Shoot, I don't know. We wouldn't have 75% of the things done. So interns work on the core of the project. So anyway, hey, since I'm speaking, I'll just keep speaking. We've got a couple of announcements I'd like to share with folks. There is KubeCon EU happening this week. Some of us are aware of that. Some of us are blissfully ignorant that there's much busyness going on in London right now. That's where KubeCon EU is. The call for papers for KubeCon North America, which is somewhere in North America, I don't remember, it just opened up. So while KubeCon EU is going, the other CFP is open. Anyone and everyone here is welcome to and supported in going and talking about Meshery or other projects that we have here. If you need help, just give the word. So right now, I just mentioned Sangram Roth. This is this gentleman here with a little more wisdom on his chin, if you can see. And with Meshmate and former multi-time intern Yash Sharma here. They're both hosting the Security Slam. So I wanted to talk about the Security Slam for a moment. There's 4 projects out of the couple hundred or so in the CNCF that have been invited to participate in this Security Slam. It's an event that you try to harden the project. For each project that the activities that go on, it's happening today or it happened earlier today. I shouldn't say it like that. Like it started a little bit earlier today and it goes on through Friday. The Security Slam does. At the end of Friday, they're going to hand out some large Lego kits for those that are in person. And if you guys want to see the pictures of those, there's some. Well, we posted them in Slack. If you want to participate in the Security Slam, you do not have to be in person. You can do it from the comfort of your own chair. These issues, this project board is out here with any number of open issues, unassigned issues for people to pick up and participate. When we're done, everybody's name will be included in a blog post on the CNCF blog talking about things that have been accomplished. Also, participants receive the coveted Security Sentinel badge of recognition. I haven't looked, but I suspect there's less than 10 people that have this right now. Like this one doesn't go out very often. So this is an awesome opportunity to put this on people's chests, proverbial chests. Or on your GitHub profile. There's a number of people who have, there's a collection of badges. There's a number of people who have those badges on their profile. So there's a lot. You can collect the whole set. All right, that's one announcement that's going on right now. It's today. These are fresh pictures. These The next announcement is that Meshery as a project hit 7,000 stars on GitHub. Awesome. That's 7,000 stars, mind you, just on the one repo, the Meshery repo. There are many other repositories that Meshery has, and those have collected stars as well. But wow, that's a lot of clicks. It's a lot of people bookmarking or liking the project just on GitHub. So pretty awesome. There's some intriguing milestones to read about. So anyway, good thing to celebrate. If you haven't starred the project, every star counts. It's a lot of stars, but every star counts. We'll be really, really happy and be having even more celebration around the 10,000 milestone. So we're tracking there. All right, good job, everybody. Ask your friend, ask your little sister, ask your grandmother, drop their star. All stars are accepted. They're all equal. Okay. Last announcement is a piece of work that's in flight. So last time we met, there were some announcements about votes that had happened on our mailing list, and that was to vote in a new maintainer, Mia. Since we met last week, another vote was out. That vote was fairly significant to the project. It was for splitting up how the GitHub repositories are organized for Meshery. Right now, well, I shouldn't say right now, but Meshery's 5 years old. We need to have a birthday party, speaking of which, but it's a 5-year-old project. It has been driven since 2019, late 2019, out of this organization here, github.com/Meshery. Great. There have been around 33 or 4 something repos in this org up until a vote was just made, just cast to split the org or split up the repos. Meshery is an extensible platform. It has any number of extensions. The extensions take different shapes. They come in different shapes and sizes. Some interface with Meshery over gRPC, some through REST API, some through GraphQL API, some through UI plugins. I won't go through the list. There is a list. Visit the website and click on extensions. That's one place to see the list. There might be some that we don't have represented yet, but there's usually at least one repo for each extension. We amassing quite a few extensions. Wonderful. That's intentional. This is a GIF of an extension. There are a number of reasons why it had been suggested that we split up the orgs and move the extensions, the repositories that contain the extensions into a new org called Meshery Extensions. Right now, it looks almost entirely the same as the other org, except it has a slightly different logo. Some of the rest of the information over here needs to change and talk more about extensions, so help wanted. There have been, gosh, I was going to say a handful, but I guess 12. There have been a few repositories moved over already. Some brand new extensions, a brand new repo created just 20 hours ago. So new extensions coming out. One of a number of reasons why it had been suggested that there is a separate area for extensions is just trying to keep up, trying to help ensure that people that the project is supporting all of you, all of us, with being able to move briskly and nimbly with an extension while not ladening the core project and the set of maintainers there with sort of a strict adherence, trying to keep up with everything, but rather to allow folks like Ijoma, who's on the call, to make her own release of this extension of which she's a maintainer. And she has those permissions to do so. And I don't know how many times she's done so, but there's a little more formality or a little bit of revised governance that needs to be considered and placed here to help ensure that those who are spending time on extensions are empowered in the right ways, that they're supported. There are some, there's one important thing maybe to mention that I don't know, it wasn't necessary to sit and contemplate deeply or outline in a deep way as people took vote here. But one of those is that if you consider, if you think in your mind that you've got this platform, Meshery, this core, it's extensible in a number of ways. It provides an environment in which other code can run. Other code plugs in various ways. Some of it's statically linked. Some of it's remotely interacts over APIs. The core, the platform, needs to make and uphold certain promises to those extensions. And it needs to make requirements of some of those extensions. Requirements like, hey, extension, please don't blow up the system and cause the core to crash. There are some protections in place for these extension points. That's the term that Meshery uses, is extension points. We should probably have a whole session on just extension points. But anyway, to get to what I was trying to say is there's a little bit of administrative tasks to perform outside of just moving repos over, but some administrative tasks to help ensure that, like right now, whenever there's a Meshery release made, which there was one here recently, one of the things that happens is that the workflow that in GitHub that kicks off a release, it will notify and more or less webhook, if you will, any number of other repositories that are subscribed to that release event. So when this core repo, someone comes in and makes a release like 2 days ago, well, one of the many steps that it goes through, like one of the very first ones, is to notify other repositories, whomever else wants to know. And that way, depending upon the type of extension that you have, you can be sure to create a fresh build and do whatever you want to do. Maybe it means create a fresh build and have one ready for that same release, or not. Since I've talked about this and we've spent as much time as we have, I will tie off this understanding, I hope, for all of us with just one example of what I'm referring to there. So, I'm in the Meshery playground, which is open to all of you to use and abuse, and please do. Like, it's supposed to be very convenient and not only a way of people getting familiar with Meshery, but actually a way of people testing out all kinds of other projects, which is pretty awesome. It's like a cloud native resource across the whole CNCF. And so we've definitely talked to the CNCF staff about that a lot, actually. So I don't know if you can see it. Zoom has got this little button in my way, but down in the corner, it just, it says, hey, with the current version that's running is, well, it's the latest version because it did a check. It checked on, I think on Meshery.io, actually, on the docs, it looks for what's the latest release, because every time we make a release, we push out release notes and the docs has the latest release and yada, yada. Anyway, this is the latest release. There's 2 release channels. One's a stable channel, one's the edge channel, but this is the latest release number, and this is what it looks like. We use semverse, semantic versioning. Great. This is what I was trying to say earlier, v0.8. That's kind of where we are. We're in the middle of it. We're working towards v0.9.0. Nikita was asking when that might happen. And Vivek's response was something like, well, on the forefront of the efforts to create the next release, we're sort of feature and function driven with respect to what we're trying to accomplish. And sort of as we close in on the latter half of those, what we're trying to accomplish, we become more date driven. And it becomes a little more in our control to say, hey, we do think we can make it within, while we thought it was going to be 3 months at first, turns out it was 6 months or 9 months, or so we sort of shift in that focus as we get there. That's just the nature of, like, it just depends on how many people show up and how consistently they show up, and if Kapil responds to messages on Slack or not. And so what I wanted to explain was that this is the core release number, and there are 2 release channels. To give you an example, Canvas is a popular extension. This particular extension, it gets notified whenever there's a Meshery release, a core release. One of the ways that this particular extension lets people know that it has its own version, this is the version of this particular plugin, the Canvas plugin. What version am I using? This one. The way that Canvas chose to do it was just to tack on, in a SEMVer compliant way, tack on an extra build number. Actually, this, you might find that over time, you might come in and you'd see that there's a Meshery core number and the -4 or 2 or 3, or like this extension point that Canvas uses. Canvas can be released independently of Meshery core, which is what I was just saying about Ijoma and how she might release the Helm Canvas snapshot. And so, yeah, I hope that that example helps sort of solidify part of the, part of the justification as to how the project is run the way it is, how it's organized, why there's 2 orgs, how, yes, it's a pain in the rear end that GitHub doesn't give more control cross org, and how there's administrative overhead. But that's how it is. Okay, questions and comments on this topic? It's kind of, it's a big deal, so it's worth having spent some time. There will be a blog post. I'll get a link to the draft here. I'll be quiet in case there's questions. I did such a wonderful job explaining that. No one has any questions. That's Lee. You did a great job. Thanks, man. Thanks, Lee. Anyway, all right. I guess there's a draft preview here. I'll drop it into the meeting minutes. But Vivek, I think we're back to you.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Lee. I think it was not published, so published was set to false. That's why you will not be able to see the preview.
Got you. Okay, so I have to get the deploy preview link somewhere. Okay, got you. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Lee. And yeah, in case anyone is wondering, like the Lego pieces that Lee was talking about, that will be awarded to people participating in person at the Security Slam. This is it. You can check it out on our community forum. Let me drop that link in chat box. Also, in case you're not familiar with the live playground environment that Lee was showing on his screen, you can also check it out, and it's also linked down in the chat box, as Meshery Playground. All right, so then we have this very first topic from Nikita on model init command. So Nikita, do you mind going next now?
Hi, hello everybody. Let me share my screen. Share, and this time I'm pretty confident I'm sharing. So yeah, I would like to showcase like the model in command. Like it's mostly done. I will open the PR for review today. So yeah, what is a modeling command? So it is like a command which actually scaffolds the necessary files, which will be then conveniently used by a build command. This command is not yet implemented, but will be implemented. And yeah, so the outcome of a command is a folder with subfolders and with the files in one of the formats which is specified. So that being said, let me show like how it's actually work. I have prepared like already a builded binary. Yep, it's like this one, Meshery Meshery model init. So first of all, it should accept like a model name command, like Meshery model init name and flex. So if you run it without like a model name, it's like failed. If you run it with a model and one more model, it's also failed. It accepts only one command. Let me take real name from the tests. AWS EC2 controller. So if I put it here and I press enter, it's scaffolding me a directory. So it's like, and it's like describing what it is doing. So it is like creating model, creating directory, creating definition. And then after this, it's like gives you a hint what you need to do next. So you need to go to this like directory and you basically need to edit the files. So like this is a folder. And this is like the folder content. So like it is all default values for now. Like it scaffolds me components, connections, relationships, model. Credentials is empty for now, but because I was like taking the schema from V1 beta 1 and it doesn't have credentials for now. Yeah, so what else does it have? This command has like a different other like options which you can provide. Like so, this one was a default version, but you can provide like here like a version, output format, and path. For now, I implemented JSON and YAML, and I didn't implement CSV. Yeah. Also, I implemented like a validation of all these params, so like you cannot like put something like incorrect here. So first of all, there is like a validation of a model name itself. So like if you put something wrong, it will tell you that it is invalid. And this validation is coming from a schema. So like if we look at the schema, so yeah, this is coming from here. And it's this like it's not hard coded. It's actually this pattern is taken from this like schema file. What else? Like version name is also like validated. So if you put version like something like this, it's telling you no, it should be like a similar like output format. Same stuff. So like you only can put like here a JSON, or you put here a YAML. Yep, it's generated. Like let me show you like a YAML. And it's generated like a YAML version, like it's kind of the same, but like everything in YAML. Yeah, what else like to highlight here? There is like a bunch of test cases which cover corner cases. And yeah, so like the schema is taken from schema repo. And yeah, that's the main points. So I'm going to finalize today like this like list of to-dos, small one, and I will put like it subcommand on the experimental subcommand, and I will open a PR for review. Questions?
Yeah, you said
No
this
question,
is.
but it's really nice to see.
Thank you.
I was just going to ask if it was appropriate to do the little dance party over here on camera or if I needed to go off camera to do that, because you said schema-driven development and you showed how how you've like, oh gosh, paid it forward, so to speak. You paid against technical debt that otherwise might accrue as we go to change schemas, and this command has insulated itself against a fair bit of that. After we have that celebratory moment, I want to ask a prodding question about a possible moment in time in which this command might need to be updated. So, as any of those core schemas that you were highlighting, model and component and credential and so on, as any of those might be enhanced over time, do the unit tests or if you could, do those tests in the golden files that you're using, are those insulated from that change as well, largely? I mean, I know that
Yeah, so like the current like this like unit test like in these files, they do not check the structure of the file. So like if we will have like a change in the files itself, they should not be affected at all. I'm not sure if it is like actually good or bad. Yeah,
both. It's both. Yeah, I mean, it's like
somewhere in between. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, that when halfway through asking that question, I realized like that the answer is that it should be both. Yeah, of course, the more granular you're checking, the more like hard coded something would be, and that you can't make it dynamic. That would be inappropriate. And so, but right now it lies somewhere in between. Okay. One other thing I want to point out and try to connect the dots on real fast is that there have been a few other folks who've been working on Meshery's other client, the UI. I know it sounds weird to people when I say the other client, and I do it on purpose because I want everyone to realize that Meshery Server's REST API is used here intensively, and it's used in the UI intensively. Good, and just recognize it's the same. It's the same thing. In the UI, there is a model import wizard, like an import model wizard, and it accepts CSV files. I am unfamiliar. It accepts I don't know if it accepts an OCI image. And I don't know that we've tried the output from the init command over in that one of those two wizards. There's an import model and there's a create model. I'd just love to see that as like one of the follow-up steps, if to see it sort of end to end from client to client. One client starts the job, the other one maybe finishes it. That'd be awesome. So,
but like, is this like a UI only accepts CSV, or it also accepts like a bunch of like, I don't know, YAML and JSONs?
Amit?
Yeah, so it accept the CSV file for the separate model component, and also it accept the zip file of the component model, and that is the JSON file in the it accept the compressed file of the all of the model data as well.
Nice, got it. Yeah, then we can give it a try, like, because like right now, like this model init command, it generates JSONs and YAMLs and not CSV. So, but if we can like upload like JSON and YAMLs, then yeah, we can give it a try.
All right. Thanks, Nikita. I would just simply highlight that the next step, like the next command that is needed to be developed, is this Meshery model build. So just Nikita showcased like how you can scaffold a model template using the model init command. And the next step would be to once you have that scaffolded files, you can edit it to suit your needs for creating a custom model, and then you would want it to export in form of a OCI compliant OCI image. there are a couple of ways where we support that, and through the command line too, if it's possible. So in that effort only, there is this second command in it to be built. So yeah, this is the issue. I'll be dropping this in chat. Anyone who'd like to work on it, you can.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I think Matthew's going to try to wrangle that one potentially. We're going to host the event, I think, this coming Thursday. Not this coming Thursday, but next week's Thursday on this topic. And if either or both of the commands is ready, even if they're just draft, even if build is just draft, it would be included in telling people, here's how you can get up and going. And so, cool, very timely.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lee. All right, so I think we are all covered on the model init command. If anyone has any question, you can ask in the next 5 seconds. If not, we will move on to the next topic. All right, I think this is from Izoma on listing the Canvas snapshot plugin. Let's take a look if, yeah, so you already had started.
You are on mute, Vijay.
Is it the time when we should say that you're on mute? Yeah.
We should have it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So I said I did like a little work here to just list the Canvas snapshot plugin in the extension page on Meshery UI. Let me hide this so everybody can see the URL here. Yeah. This is still on the localhost because it's not yet meshed. It's just like a basic description of what the Canvas snapshot does. And when you click on learn more, it takes you to the artifact hub where the plugin is listed. So there's still like a couple of work to do here because like we've switched the repository from Meshery organization. Yeah, so I have to make some updates in the README and also update all of this here. But that doesn't really affect this particular PR. I have the PR here. I think Lee dropped the message. And then I also noticed that I think there's some next build issue happening because of using exports. I tried like doing that, but I'm not the best person at doing the little front end thing. But if anyone can just help me out while I still figure that. It's just failing at building, and that's because of the exports I'm using in that file. I don't know. And I noticed that it's just not here. I looked at other PRs that have like that this file was like changed and then it's filled. So yeah, it's something we can like probably doing another PR of that. So yeah, that's all for this part here. So I'm gonna stop sharing.
That looks great. Yeah, the Ijoma, the updating those hyperlinks, that makes a ton of sense. It's the right thing to do. In the meantime, it should be the case that GitHub auto redirects from the old hyperlink, from the old repo to the new one. But that might affect some systems and stuff though. I mean, just and then you on your PR, like actually to me, it looked correct. So hopefully, Fahim, did you have feedback? Did you take a look at that?
I've not taken the look yet. I will be checking it now. I'm sorry for that. I have not taken the look.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Stop share. Okay. Yeah, that's all for me for now.
Ijoma, I'll see if I'll see if you're up for maybe co-authoring a blog post, like to announce the thing.
Yeah, I am. I'm up for it. Yeah.
Nice.
So once I'm sure that everything is working smoothly on the new repo, I can just start that by the side. Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Izuma. Next up, we have Prajwal's item on updating the GitHub workflow. So let's take a look if we have. Yeah, we do. So Prajwal, do you mind going next, sharing your update?
Yeah, basically I'm not in my home and not in my system, so I can't share my work right now. Can you please share if it's possible? I can take any inputs or changes required.
Yeah, sure. So I have dropped the PR's link and have opened the issue like the PR too.
So basically the issue was like, to set the appropriate permission for the GitHub workflow. By default, it takes us right. So for few files, it doesn't require to have basic default write command. So some of the files requires only read and checks requires write. So I think I've made some necessary changes in all the workflows. And apart from that, any other changes required? So can I?
Like
Yeah,
right
so
now, like how are you ensuring like we have the right permission for each of the workflows? Like, did you make sure like we're not limiting because we might be writing in some workflows already, and just make sure we don't limit the permissions to, and it would just crash. Prajwal, did you get?
Prajwal, do you mind answering?
Hello. Am I audible? Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying like, how are you ensuring we are now having the right set of permissions for each of these workflows?
The workflows were, meant to do some tasks like, so based on this particular task or job they are set to, I've set some job-based permissions. So I made sure that they won't, use unnecessary contents or unnecessary access for overriding the security issues. So I think I made sure like it's not working properly. I mean, it works properly with assigned YAML files.
And like I was saying, like, were you able to like test? Like, did you test it with your local repo? Because with the fork repo, you're like with these new workflow changes, like, are these workflows not working properly?
I mean, I did check with a few running, actions, but I don't know whether it was correct or not. So I think I might, have to rethink of it, do that again. I didn't
Yeah,
run it
yeah,
in
just
my.
make sure to test like each of these, because otherwise they might fail in production, and we might just like have failed release or something.
Sure, I'll do it today and update it properly.
Pranjal, one other point of guidance is that in general, you would expect that you would be moving the project from a larger set of permissions. If you can go back to that PR for a moment, Vivek, from a larger set of permissions to a smaller set. And in the first two examples, it seems that we might be moving them to an expanded set of scope of permission. And so under the presumption that the workflow is currently working, you would expect that the way that you would be moving these would be to reduce their scope of permission privilege. So something to bear in mind.
Sure.
Cool.
All right. Thanks a lot for sharing your update, Prajwal, and Lee, Abid, for your feedback. I think we are quite on time, but I'll quickly check and ask if we have anything urgent to discuss. If we do not, then we probably can discuss that in the next dev meeting. So I'll be waiting for 10 seconds. If anyone has any urgent item to share.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Gaurav.
I'm not sure it's very urgent, but Lee, you mentioned about the registry URL that Vinay fixed. So that is it being tested upon the already existing sheet or not? So Vinay, if you're present, like, can you please say that did you test like what is the um, behavior of that particular fix? Um,
I think Vinay, you're on mute. and it's possible that he may be having some bandwidth issues.
Okay,
If
and
that's
then
the
no
case,
worries.
then
Yeah, Gaurav, let's do it in Slack chat.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. And also like, yeah, that's it. I'll put on Slack then. Nothing to be of very concerning right now.
all right. Thanks a lot, Gaurav. So yeah, folks, that was all for today's meeting. I thank you all for joining and listening in. You also can, if you did not have any item from like the next meetings, you can have like open PRs. You can mention them, and we'll be discussing them. We will be having our weekly newcomers meeting tomorrow, and so if we can't get a contributor training, session going, we will be discussing how you can contribute and participate in the various projects and community. So this is the community calendar link. Subscribing to it, you will get all the updates. You don't have to worry about the time zone. It will be automatically doing that for you. So that's it. It's linked down in chat box. And with that, I'll see you all next Wednesday. Till then, bye everyone.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
I guess. Yeah. Great job, Nikita.